Okay, so you guys, you need to make sure you have out on your desk your notes and assignment 3.9a. We are going to finish up the notes that go with 3.9a. So yesterday we talked about how everything on the front side is in play. The first four, the first 8 problems, and then we talked about how on the back problem for sure, problem 9, we should probably have the skills to do. And for sure problem 14. So we're going to talk about what we need to do to be able to solve problems 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so first thing, when we solve rational equations, guys, you have to have a common denominator. Okay, so get rid of the fraction, right? So we got to multiply everything by the common denominator, simplify out, check to make sure it's legit. So we went through and we've done all of these examples. So these are all done for us. So here we are. Here we go. So we have this example right here, extra example. I want to come back. So I want to do example 35. Example 34 is what you're going to need to do to solve problem 9 and to help you solve problem 10. So these next two examples are going to help you do problems 11 and 12 and 13 on your what? Assignment. So here we go. First off, I need to get the least common denominator. Well, this side has an x minus 2, and over here I also have an x minus 2. So that's pretty easy to see. So the next thing I need to do is take x minus 2 and times it by each term of my equation. So I get x minus 2 times 5 over x minus 2 is equal to 7 times x minus 2. Add 10 over x minus 2. I need to times that by what? X minus 2, right? So we're simplifying. The x minus 2 go away. On the side I'm left with a 5. So here I've got that 7 in parentheses x minus 2. And then over here that x minus 2 goes away, so I'm going to add a 10. So this should be something I feel very confident solving. So I just need to go distribute that 7. So we get 5 is equal to this. 5 times x is 7x. 7 times the negative 2 is a negative 14 plus 10. All right, so I've got to go combine like terms. I'm going to give you guys a second, right, second to get caught up. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Alrighty, so here we are. So then I have this. On this side I'll have 5 and then 7x. These two terms combine, the negative 14 and the 10 combine to a negative 4. So to solve, I need to add 4 to both sides. 4 plus 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 is equal to a 7x. I then need to divide both sides by 7. So x is equal to 9 over 7. And in my original equation, x can't equal a 2. 9 over 7 is not a 2, so that is a legitimate solution. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to get that copied down. I'm going to time up here for 15 seconds. All right, example 36. I need to get a least common denominator. On this side, I have an x minus 3, which looks good. So I have an x minus a 3. When I look at this is equal x over x minus 3. So these two have the same thing on the bottom, so for sure that needs to be on the least common denominator. But over here I have this thing called 4. So I'm also going to need a 4. So I want to take my least common denominator and multiply it by every single term. So then I have this 4x minus 3, and I'm going to times that by the 3 over x minus 3 is equal to a 4, and I get the x minus a 3, and then I'll get x over x minus a 3 minus 4, and I get x minus a 3 times x over what? 4. Okay, what goes away? x minus 3, x minus 3. 4 times 3 gives me a 12. The next term, if I look at what's going to cancel out, I'm going to have the x minus 3 cancel out. So when that happens, 4 times x gives me a 4x, right? So the next thing I'm going to need to do is right here. The 4's cancel out, so I'm left with this negative x minus 3 times x. So what we're going to need to do is multiply those out. So I'm going to get 12 is equal to a 4x minus x times x is a x squared. And then when I do that, that's minus a 3 what? X. So just setting myself up again, I'm going to rewrite this. So I got 4x. Got to distribute the negative. Negative x squared plus 3x is equal to 12. Okay, the next step would then be 12, and I want to combine like stuff. So I have negative x squared plus 7x. Okay, here's the thing. At this point, this is negative. I want to go get a positive, so I want to move it to the other side. So I'm going to add an x squared to both sides. I'm going to minus a 7x from both sides. I'm going to add an x squared. I'm going to minus a 7x, but I still have a positive 12. So then I get this equation, x squared minus 7x plus 12 is equal to a what? 0. So I have a quadratic. I have two solutions. This is going to factor. I need to look for something of 12. Right, that's going to add to 7. So factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 4 and 3. Oh, we're starting to repeat. So which one of those can I get to a 7? 3 and 4 I can get to a 7 if they're both negative, and then they'll both multiply to a positive 12. So I get x minus a 3, and I get x minus a 4. To get my solutions, I set each one of those equal to a 0. X is equal to a 3. X is equal to a 4. Here's the thing. Looking up here, what can x not equal? X can equal a 3. That's going to give me an extraneous solution. So down here, this is an extraneous solution, and this is my only real solution. Okay. So let's talk about what is on the back of assignment 3.9a, which is right here. So everything on the front side should be okay, especially after we did bell work today. Problem 9 you should be okay to do. So here's the thing. Problem 12 and problem 13 are like that example 35, right? I've got to take that x plus 3 and the x minus 3. So you got to go talk about those. Problem 30. So problem example 36, right? This one is going to be similar. I just got to go get those with that. So I want to come and do problem 10 with you guys real fast. So I'm going to zoom up on problem 10. So my common denominator is going to be x minus 3, x plus 4. So I'm going to have to go x minus 3, x plus 4. I have x over x minus 3. Those go away, and I'm left with x times x plus 4. That's the one side. So this side I've got to times by x minus 3, x plus 4. And those are going to cancel out, so I'm left with this on both sides, x, and again x plus a 3. So then I have x squared plus 4x is equal to x squared plus 3x. I'm going to minus x squared from both sides. That goes away, so I got 4x is equal to a 3x. So let's minus the 3x from both sides. So I then get 7x is equal to a 0. If I divide both sides by 7, x is equal to a what? 0. Okay, so you guys, the rest of class time is for you to complete the rest of assignment 3.9a. So the front side stuff that you started yesterday, a lot of you guys were having success. I was super, 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 super proud of you. And then we just need to go get the backside. So FYI on solutions, you should get a whole number on 1, a whole number on 2, a whole number on 3, a whole number on 4. You'll get a fraction on 5, a fraction on 6, and a fraction on 7. On 8, you'll get a whole number. On 9, you'll get a whole number. 10, we just did. 11, a whole number. 12, a whole number. 13, a whole number. 14, when I say whole number, I should be saying integers, right? It could be positive or negative, but they're going to be like a -5 or a +5.